Hi there. My name is Tanya Finks. I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach. I help people, partners, and nonprofit leadership teams live, love, and work with greater clarity, intention, and alignment with purpose. My top 5 strengths are relator, futuristic, intellection, achiever, and strategic. In my brief time as a strengths coach, I've talked to many people who have had their assessment results for some time and sort of thought, okay, it sounds like me, but so what? When I got my assessment results, they rocked my world and they continue to rock my world. If you haven't taken the CliftonStrengths assessment, check out my video that explains why you should. One of the first things I do when I'm coaching someone who's gotten their assessment results is I give them some context for thinking about their results. Like, what now? What do I do with this? So this video will help you sort of understand what the results are telling you, what you should do next, what to do with your results. I call it my primer on the CliftonStrengths. So the assessment that you completed had 177 paired statements that you responded to. And what the assessment did is sorted your responses into 34 talent themes in order of intensity. So from most intense to least intense. First, the way that they identified the 34 talent themes is by interviewing successful people across hundreds of professions. So some key things that I take away from that. One is that the talent themes are not specific to any one profession. You've got executing professions, you've got helping professions. So the talent themes are across hundreds of professions. And then the other thing that I take away from that is that each of the 34 is a way that people succeed. So all of them are valuable, all of them contribute. Every single one. So a talent is a natural way of thinking, feeling, behaving. It's the way you naturally navigate the world. It's the way you approach the world without even having to give it conscious thought. The way you naturally navigate the world. So a talent theme is a collection of talents with something in common. So I'm going to use communication as an example because it's easy to see. People particularly talented in the communication theme they're able to create vivid pictures with words. They tend to have a knack for finding the exact right word that fits somewhere. They tend to process information verbally, so they literally think by talking. As you can see, those are distinct talents, but they all have something in common in the area of communication. So when you're looking at your top 5 talent themes, you will see several different talents inside each talent theme, and you'll be getting to know the different talents within each talent theme. A strength in this model is defined as consistent, near perfect performance in a particular task. So we're moving from natural talent, what happens naturally, toward sort of intentional, deliberate leveraging of your natural talents into strengths. Because you may have noticed that what happens naturally sometimes produces the exact outcome that you intend, and sometimes it just doesn't. Have you noticed that? So there are a couple of concepts that sort of speak to the complexity of your talent themes, why sometimes they're producing the exact outcome that you intend, and sometimes they're just not. One of those concepts is balcony versus basement. So balcony just refers to the more productive expressions of your talent themes. So when you think of the balcony, you might think of basking in the sun, or you might think of the nice seats at the opera, but the balcony just refers to the more productive expression of your talent themes. Versus the basement, when you think about the basement, you might think of dark, damp, a little scary maybe. So the basement refers to your the less productive expression of your talent themes. So let's use my number one talent theme, relator, as an example. So people especially talented in the relator theme enjoy close relationships with others. They find deep satisfaction in working hard with friends to achieve a goal. So essentially, I like to build relationship one-on-one and very deep. Balcony expressions of relator might include caring, trusting, a great friend, forgiving, generous. So those are some more productive expressions of relator. Balcony examples of relator might include lives in a clique, has an inner circle, plays favorites. So that's balcony versus basement. Another concept that speaks to the complexity of the talent themes, why sometimes it's supporting what you're up to and sometimes not, is raw versus mature. So raw speaks to your natural talent, what happens naturally. It speaks to potential, versus mature, again, is that very deliberate, intentional use of your talent themes. Another way to think about raw versus mature is raw is the me versus mature being the we. So when you think about how you naturally navigate the world, typically you're doing what works for you, what's within your comfort zone, and what's important to you. So that's the me aspect of raw versus mature. Mature can be outward focused. It could be used for a purpose so that maybe for someone else's comfort, maybe so that you can get good work done together or accomplish a goal together. So once again, using my number one talent theme, relator, as an example, raw relator looks like I'm very comfortable with people I know well and like, and I'm not so comfortable outside of that circle. So I'm very selective about who I spend my time with. So that's raw relator. Versus mature relator, I leverage my ability to get to know someone and what's important to them for their comfort, or so that we can do good work together or accomplish a goal together. So that's outward focus. That's the we. That's mature relator. So you're never going to be all balcony, all basement, all raw, all mature in any of your talent themes. And the whole point of those concepts are to help you identify developmental opportunity. So you might start to notice the circumstances that bring out the balcony versus the basement, and notice the circumstances that bring out the raw versus the mature in any of your talent themes. And those might be clues to developmental opportunities. Or when you're not producing the result you intended, again, noticing the patterns, those might be clues to developmental opportunities. So the journey from natural talent to strength has several milestones along the way. The first is understanding. And understanding just speaks to understanding the technical definition of the talent themes. Those are the definitions contained in the reports provided by Gallup when you complete your CliftonStrengths assessment. And what those reports are telling you are what motivates your talent themes, what drives your talent themes, how you are motivated to act, motivated to build relationships, what you need to succeed, your preferences, your tendencies. So that those items are contained within the technical definition. And so understanding is starting to recognize that. So for example, again, using my number one relator, if I say relator, I can look in my life and find examples of relator. That's understanding. I understand the motivations and drives. And so when I see myself being quiet in a group social situation, I can say, yeah, that's a function of relator. That's understanding. Awareness is the next milestone. If understanding is understanding the motivations and drives of your talent themes, awareness is taking that understanding a step further and recognizing your talent themes in action. A couple things to understand about your talent themes. You're never just one talent theme, right? I'm not just relator. walking around. I'm actually an interaction between all of my talent themes. So I'm relator and futuristic and intellection and achiever and strategic. All of those talent themes sort of interacting. They might be borrowing motivations from one another. So my relator might be activated by my need to achieve. Like I might, be driven to build relationship because I need to get something done with someone. One theme can be intensified by another. So my strategic could be my strategic. So my ability to see patterns and find a way to move forward quickly might be intensified by achiever, which is really energized by getting things done. So my need to get things done might really intensify my ability to find solutions quickly and move forward. Or your talent themes might be moderated by one another. So my achiever could be moderated by relator. I'm recognizing the needs of someone close to me and sort of, moderating my drive to get something done. I might be more focused on the needs of someone in my life. So recognizing the interaction, recognizing how you're motivated in any moment, why you're focused on what you're focused on in that moment, because your talent themes don't just tell you how you're driven to get things done or driven to interact in the world. They're also your filter for the world. So what you focus on in any given moment is also a function of your talent themes. You could be in a group setting, a bunch of people having a conversation, and it's sort of like the two of you and your neighbor are hearing two different conversations, because what you focus on in the conversation is going to be a function of your talent themes, and what your neighbor is focused on is going to be a function of their talent themes. Because the likelihood of someone else having your same top 5 talent themes in the same intensity order is 1 in 33 million. So your view is very unique to you, and your neighbor's view is very unique to them. And so when you're interacting, you're going to be focused on different things, and you might have had that experience in conversation or in working with people. You sort of think, why is this not common sense to you? Well, it's not common sense to them because they have a different filter than you do. So awareness is starting to recognize those drives, recognize those motivations, recognize that filter in action. So you start to see why you key in on a specific message in a conversation, or you start to see why you make a particular recommendation that might be different from the other recommendations being made in the room. That is awareness, recognizing your talent themes in action. And then the third milestone is acceptance and appreciation. So acceptance is about recognizing, okay, this is the way I navigate the world. Sometimes people will have theme envy. They wish they navigated the world in another way. I've shared that my number one talent theme is relator. So I really do build relationship one-on-one. I'm not the person who enters the room of 100 people and leaves with 100 friends. I sort of connect one-on-one at a party. And then if you're ready to move on, you kind of have to break up with me, because I really like to get to know someone intimately. Woo, which is winning others over, is number 33 of 34 for me. I've got no woo. It's really at the bottom of the list for me. And I've got to admit, I've got a little bit of woo envy. But I recognize the way that I navigate the world and have found ways to succeed in different environments that really fit with my talent themes. And I don't try to build what isn't natural for me. So acceptance is starting to recognize, okay, this is the way that I navigate the world. The other barrier to that acceptance is not wanting to claim a particular talent theme. So, someone who is high in significance, for example, people who are high in significance, they want to be admired, they want to leave a legacy, they want to do something that contributes to the world in a visible way. But, you hear that description and it may sound self-involved, it may sound self-aggrandizing. And so you might have a reaction like, no, that's not me. I'm not significant. But as you start to explore and understand your drives and how you step out and take the lead, or, are always thinking about when you're working on projects, how this is impacting the world, who needs to be aware of this, how are you leaving a legacy, there might be some truth in it. And so acceptance is really getting to a place where you sort of understand that this is the way you navigate the world, and you're able to sort of release the judgment that you might have about those ways that you succeed, because they do pull you forward. Appreciation, the other part of that milestone, is, so if acceptance is, okay, this is the way I navigate the world, appreciation is, yeah, this is the way I navigate the world. I like to think of your talent themes as your superpowers. And so appreciation is really starting to understand the contributions of your talent themes. So you're not just accepting that this is how you navigate the world, you're really seeing how your unique contribution makes a difference, and how you need to bring that to whatever you do, and how that contributes to, what you're working on, what your team is working on, what your partnership is working on. It's your unique contribution, and appreciation is about valuing that. It's about starting to help people understand how to get the most from you, how to get the best from you. When you are operating inside of your natural talents, you are energized, you are effective. And so helping people understand your contribution, your natural talents, is another way of helping you be your best. So understanding, awareness, acceptance, and appreciation. These are the milestones, those initial milestones on the journey from natural talent to strength. And what becomes available as you travel those milestones is what Gallup refers to as aiming your talents, what I like to call diagnosing and leveraging. Aiming your talents or leveraging your talents is sort of directing them at a goal or performance outcome, a priority. So, in those cases where you're not producing the outcome you intend, you, through understanding and awareness, can recognize what talent themes are contributing to the outcome you are producing. And then you can start to ask yourself some questions. Am I leading with a talent theme when I should be leading with another talent theme? Am I overusing a talent theme? Should I dial it back a little bit and use a little bit more of another talent theme? Is this the basement of a talent theme? Do I need to, sort of think about that and bring it up to the balcony? Should I be focused on a different talent theme? So that's why I refer to it as that diagnosing and leveraging. You can literally look at results you're producing in life and say, could I produce a result more in line with my commitments, with my priorities, by tweaking my use of my talent themes, by being more intentional about how I'm using my talent themes versus what happens naturally. And unfortunately, just having the awareness of how you're producing the result isn't enough. It actually takes investment of time, focus in making that shift, because what you're doing naturally is instinctual. It just happens. Even after you have the awareness, it may still happen. In my experience, it still happens. And it really takes that sort of intentional focus on leveraging your talent themes in a different way to produce a different result. But the beauty is that it actually is possible. It gives you a tangible way to approach producing a different result. Not like a sort of nebulous, you need to improve such and such. It actually gives you this is what's happening. And this is how I can make something different happen. So that is one of the things that I absolutely love about the CliftonStrengths model. Weakness in this model is defined as the overuse, so the lack of a talent theme or the overuse of a talent theme that gets in your way or gets in others' way. So it's disrupted in some way. So when you think about, at the start of this, I said that the assessment is sorting your talent themes into sorting your responses into 34 talent themes in order of intensity. So it's actually sorting them from 1 to 34. And when you get your top 5 strengths report, it's really just focused on that top 5. But when you complete the assessment, it's actually sorting them into the full 34. And so there might be talent themes at the bottom of that list. And I think the natural way of thinking about it is to think that those are your weaknesses. And I've talked to a number of people who get their results and they're like, well, I want to see the bottom. I want to see what I need to work on. A different way of thinking about the bottom of that report is, those aren't necessarily your weaknesses. Those are ways you don't naturally navigate the world. And so you don't need to focus on trying to navigate the world in a way that's not natural to you. Instead, you might focus on how you are overusing a talent theme that might be getting in your way, or if you have the opportunity to use a different talent theme to accomplish the same goal. So, for example, I mentioned that relator's my number 1. Woo, winning others over, is number 33 of 34. People high in woo are the people who can enter a room of 100 people and leave with 100 friends. They are charming. They build rapport naturally. I'm not that person. But rather than focusing on becoming that person, what I've recognized is that being high in relator, I have some natural talents that work in my benefit. I tend to be authentic. I succeed by being transparent. I'm really interested in what's important to people. I make genuine, deep connections with people. And so I don't try to be different than that. I don't succeed on the surface. I'm horrible at small talk. I've got zero interest in small talk. I'm never going to succeed that way. Instead, I succeed by doing what's natural to me, but I've learned to leverage also my number 6 talent, which is learner. And so the combination of relator and learner, I use them to connect in social situations where I need to establish rapport. And so, as I've done that more and more, actually, I found myself recently at a conference for work. And, I was talking to people like I'm high in woo. It was sort of amazing. And I was sort of observing it in the moment, saying, who are you right now? But, I've been sort of intentionally using relator and learner in social situations, and I'm building that muscle. And I'm doing it in a way that is natural to me, and it's created sort of more comfort and ease in group social situations. So the point is, when you think about weakness, don't think about, well, what are the talent themes at the bottom of that report that I need to acquire or practice. No, think about, how do I make the most of my natural talents? And then the last little element I will share is about the domains. So each of the 34 talent themes are sorted into one of 4 domains. One is executing, one domain is influencing, another is relationship building, and another is strategic thinking. So the point of the model isn't to be well-rounded and have, dominant talent themes in each of the 4 domains. Because the truth is that each of us gets things done, influences people, builds relationships, and processes information. We all do that no matter where our natural talents lie. So the CliftonStrengths assessment does not tell you what you do. It more speaks to how you do it. And so you might be using execution to build relationships. You might be using your strategic thinking to influence people. We all accomplish those things, but it gives you some insight into how you get that done. So that's my primer on the CliftonStrengths assessment. I think that context helps you understand how to think about your results, and as you start to travel that journey from natural talent to strength, you might have insights about the ways that you navigate the world. You might start to see balcony examples of your talent themes. You might start to see basement examples of your talent themes. But building your knowledge, your understanding, your awareness, your appreciation and acceptance is how you can start to leverage your talent themes and really make that information work for you. So I hope this has been helpful. I invite you to come back to my channel for more information to help you travel that journey from natural talent to strength and have you being your best self. So if you enjoyed this information, I hope that you will like the video and subscribe to my channel. And thank you as always for stopping by, and take great care until we see each other again.